I've been in the Nintendo Switch ecosystem for about 4 years now, and one of those games that has been a huge part of that ecosystem was The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now, for me, I didn't get it until half a year after I had the Switch. I never played a Zelda game before that one. And I first played it, and then I stopped after like 2 hours. I wasn't really enjoying it too much. I think about, let's say, a year later, I came back onto it, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to play through more of it. So I did. I actually played about 25 hours of it. I was actually heavily enjoying it. I played some side missions, they were fun. I did shrines, I did some main story stuff. I was really enjoying the game. Then I stopped again. And then I finally picked it up again when the Switch 2 came out, and I got the Switch 2 edition. That's when I decided I'm going to beat this game once and for all. And then what did I do? I put it back down, waited a whole year, and I finally picked it back up again just a few months ago. And I dedicated myself to finish this game once and for all. Once I did, I took some time to think about it. I regret finishing the game. Now, I don't hate the game. I don't. I actually really appreciate the game. There is a reason why I regret beating the game. The reason why I came back to finish it was because Ocarina of Time is coming out at the end of this year, and I really wanted to have a Zelda game under my belt. There was a lot that I liked about it. I love the shrines, and I really liked the dungeons of this game, which are the divine beasts. Those were probably my favorite part of the entire game. But as I kept playing, instead of doing side missions, instead of just exploring, the main priority was to focus on the story, which was fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But once I did, I felt like I wasn't enjoying the game as much. After I beat the last Divine Beast, all I was doing was trying to get more shrines to get the Master Sword. The Lost Woods is probably one of my favorite parts of the game. Whenever I played that section, I fell in love with it. I don't know, the atmosphere, the music, I don't know what it was. I just really enjoyed it. And just the puzzles to get to the shrines, and that section was fun. The Master Sword was cool, of how you had to collect a certain amount of hearts to pull it out. But for the last 2 hours, I was just doing shrines. That's also when I actually started to play the Switch 2 in handheld. I barely played the Switch 1 in handheld, and the Switch 2 I never did. Honestly, after this experience, I fell in love with playing it in handheld mode, which I'm now actually buying games just to play it in handheld mode. I have Cyberpunk, and I'm actually just playing it in handheld mode instead of playing it on the TV. I don't have it on my PlayStation. I just enjoy playing it in my room, on my bed. It's just fun like that. Now, some of it is hard to get used to with the controllers being a little smaller, and it hurts your hands after a while, and the battery life isn't the best. Like Cyberpunk, I can play it for like an hour and a half if I'm lucky, and it's like 10% left, so not the best, but I still really enjoy it, and it also keeps me from playing for too long. With Breath of the Wild, I kept focusing on the main missions and the shrines, which the shrines were really fun. I don't regret doing that. I also wanted to do all of the memories, and one of the memories is in Hyrule Castle, which I found odd, because it's like, it wasn't even like the last memory, it was just like third to last, and it was like the hardest one to get to, because you had to be in Hyrule Castle to get it, and I questioned that. So then afterwards, I went and I beat Ganon, and it was kind of easy, especially after all of those other bosses that you had to fight in the Divine Beast. It was pretty easy. It was cool. It was spectacularly cool. I liked how if you had, I don't know if you didn't have a horse, if you just didn't get one, or if they just gave you one, but I like how your horse is there at the end. But it was really easy, and even going through that dungeon at the end with Hyrule Castle, because it kind of, I guess, was supposed to be, but also kind of not. It had a map like the dungeons, but it also wasn't. But I just kind of just walked by, sneaked by every enemy I could just to get to the end. Then I wanted time to think about the game before I made a video. And it's been like a whole month since then. And I regret beating it. But I'm actually glad I did. Because now, games like this, I know to not just focus on the main story. I guess what I wanted from this game was linear, but of course it's not. I mean, I'm not saying that I bought it for a linear experience. I know what it was. I knew what it was. But I just like more linear games. I didn't hate this experience at all. I actually appreciated it and I really enjoyed it. But I'm just not into these types of open world games. But I think that was the biggest problem. I was going for a more linear experience. I should have been doing side missions and exploring and just doing shrines whenever I wanted to do. Instead, my main focus was to beat the game. And I really shouldn't have. I feel like I would have enjoyed and appreciated the game way more if I would have just not focused on the story. I don't have Tears of the Kingdom. I might get Tears of the Kingdom in the future, but I know if I ever do, I am not going to try to beat the game. I will do probably some story missions, of course, but I'm not going to try to beat the game. I just want to play it. And now I'm realizing with like games like Cyberpunk, it's kind of the same way. It's that big open world thing where there's like a lot of missions you can do. I'm also not trying to beat that right now. And that's because of Breath of the Wild. And I feel like I'm enjoying the game more because of that. I'm not too much focused on the story. But with Breath of the Wild, I kind of ruined my own experience by doing that. I know that it's fine if you do just the story stuff. It's fine if you don't do the story stuff. But for me, I feel like I had to beat it. And now I realize I never wanted to. There was no point for me to. I already played 50 hours of the game, but there was no point. Now I know I can go back and I can play it. And of course, I think I probably definitely will play more of it on that save file. Because, yeah, you can. It just sets you back to right before you defeat Ganon. But I just wish I never did. Because right now I feel like I don't really want to play the game right now since I've already finished it. Now maybe in the future I will. Or I'll get Tears of the Kingdom and play that. But I wish I never wanted to complete this story. And I also feel like the reason why I did is because I have a backlog list. And Breath of the Wild was like number 1. And that's just always been there for like a whole year. I've always seen that like I need to beat this game. And that was my main reason. I forced myself to beat this game instead of just enjoying it. I do regret beating the game, but I also appreciate that I did. Because now I understand not to do that with games like this. Now, I rank the game probably 8 out of 10. I think even if I didn't beat the game and I was just still doing side missions, it might be a little higher, but I still feel like that's just kind of where I would put it. I understand the love for this game, but I just don't like it as much as other people do. If any of you guys have ever had a similar experience with a game like this, if not this game, leave it down below in the comments. I really like to hear about it. But what I want this video to tell people about is to not feel like you have to beat a game. Don't feel guilty if you haven't. It's fine if you haven't. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't feel guilty that you haven't beat it yet. Especially games like this, especially like Breath of the Wild. But I am still tackling my backlog. But they are more linear games. Like, I just beat God of War. But there are good things about having a backlog and actually beating games. But I think sometimes we need to realize what games should be on there and what games shouldn't. So hope you guys take that away at least. If you guys have a massive backlog and you see games like Breath of the Wild or just huge RPG games, maybe just take a step back and take it off. Maybe just enjoy the game. You don't need to beat it if you don't want to. If you do want to, that's fine. It's great. If you don't want to, don't beat it. Just play it. Enjoy it. Enjoy your time with it. That's the whole point of video games.